what should the discussion be regarding abortion? Because I think listening to both of you, you stated your positions with those labels, but I think the two of you coalesce in so many places. It's hard to say that you would definitely disagree on just abortion. Like you could unpack that so much. So what would be the discussion to have on abortion? What is the question to ask?
I mean, I think that these labels that we have for each other to just find these issues really separate us more, and they're not even necessarily providing useful information about what someone believes. And it is, as both of you had said, that it is easy to shoot someone down when you just hear a label. And it's so often that we hear you're pro-life, you don't care about women, or you don't care about the poor, or you don't care about any of these things. And I think if we're going to have discussions, I think it probably needs to be on a case-by-case basis. It has to be about specific legislation. I mean, we could talk about generalized, and I think that's good. And it's good in getting to know someone. But in terms of, and I think that is necessary work before you can talk about more specific issues, just to know where people are coming from. But there should be some sort of assumption that the person, until proven incorrect, that the person is coming from a good place, that they are intelligent, and that they are moral, and that they are not out to get anyone, or that they're ignorant. And so much of Braver Angels is just getting people to see each other as people again. And you could be flawed. You might not have thought of some things. Some things are in your purview or other purview, or sometimes you just have different opinions. And that's fine. That's all wonderful. And we all just, when we're talking about very specific issues, we can come from this knowledge of we're all good people. We all have something to share. We have good perspectives. And I want to hear what your perspective is, because I'm curious. I know I have so much more to learn, and my view doesn't encompass everyone else's view.
I appreciate that. And I have something to add. I think kind of what we have demonstrated today and in our preparation, in answering your question about how to have a conversation about abortion, I think that one of the answers is to concentrate on the underlying values. Our underlying values are similar here, right? They're similar in terms of prioritizing life and minimizing a society where abortion happens. And I think that if we had started off with a what if and give a specific contentious, difficult scenario, that we would be less likely to have a valuable subsequent conversation. If we start off talking about values, emphasizing common experience in humanity, I think that is a different starting point. I had an experience recently at a special education meeting here in Augusta County for parents of special education kids and or kids in special education. And I introduced myself to the president afterwards, and he was a minister, and I said, well, I'm a Quaker. And he said, oh, you'd be so excited to hear about our pro-life clinic, about how we really limit women's ability to have abortions. I know that as a Quaker, you would love that. And I said, well, actually, I'm firmly pro-choice. And he was so horrified, he had a physical reaction like, oh, get away from me. And I said, no, wait a minute. We're here because we both have children in special education. Let's bond over that. We disagree on that other issue, and it's a big one, but let's be friends anyway. And by the end of the conversation, he had invited me to his next prayer meeting, and I'd really like to go. It was right before COVID hit, so I haven't had a chance to go, but we left with enough of a understanding, enough of a pivot to something that we both really agreed on together, and not saying, oh my gosh, you love abortion, you want lots of abortion because you're pro-choice, that's what you do. And I'm like, it didn't end that way because we both chose to pivot back to something that we had a shared interest or responsibility in. And that's, I think, another way to approach topics like this.
That's great. Yeah, it's good to hear that you were able to turn a conversation that could have went, it could have ended right there, right?
Oh, he wanted it to end, and then part of me was like, "Ooh, I wouldn't mind this ending either. I could go home and drink some tea." But the end result was that we started a friendship that maybe would be unlikely, and that I got to hear more about his experience as the parent of someone in special education, and got a chance to learn more about that, about kinds of questions I should ask or could be asking. And I'm richer because of it. And I would be a richer, better person if I do get to go to that Bible study that he has at his pro-life organization at church and show up with kindness and respect and to learn more about their perspective. I would be a better person because of that. And maybe I could share some about where I'm coming from too. That would be the goal.
Thank you for watching the Unity Now podcast. We'll be back with another conversation that highlights the political middle ground to unite Americans and end the ideological war. In the meantime, we'd love to hear from you. Please comment below and hit that subscribe button.